Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to English class. So, today we are dealing with the second part of our story, George's Secret Key to the Universe. So, we already discussed the first part of our story in the previous video. So, those who didn't see that video, please go through it. So, let's continue our story. So, all of you listen to page number 8 of your textbook. Okay. Eric clapped. Annie burst an empty crisp packet. Cosmos flashed a rainbow of bright colors across his screen. Now, why Eric clapped over here? I told you in the previous video that Cosmos immediately denied saying and reminded Eric that George should take oath. So George immediately responded and says, I am taking this oath and I will use this knowledge for the good of mankind. And when he said, so that is why Eric clapped. So when George said this, Eric clapped. Well done, George, said Eric. Cosmos will now show us how a star is born. Welcome, said Cosmos, playing a little computerized fanfare to the universe. Now, what is the meaning of playing a little computerized fanfare? It means he played certain music. The room was getting darker and darker. Come and sit here, George called Annie, who had already settled herself on the big comfy sofa. George sat down next to her, and after a few seconds, he saw a tiny beam of very bright white light. It came directly from Cosmos' screen. The beam shot out into the middle of the room, where it wavered for a second before it began to sketch a shape in the air. But that looks like a... George began to speak. A window? Said Eric proudly. Cosmos has made us a window on the universe. Watch closely. Now, the room was getting darker and darker, and Annie called George and said to come and sit here. And she had already settled herself on the big comfy sofa. Comfy means comfortable sofa. Now a tiny beam of light came out of Cosmos' screen directly into the room where they all are seated, and it sketched a window. Tiny beam of light sketched a window middle of the room. And George was amazed to see such a beautiful sight because earlier he had never seen such a sight before him. Because I already told you George's parents didn't like technology. It was an incredible sight to see the outside world, to see the space. The beam of light disappeared, leaving the window it had drawn in the middle of Eric's sitting room. Hanging in mid-air, it now looked exactly like a real window. It had a big sheet of glass in the pane and a metal frame. Beyond it, there was a view, and that view was not of Eric's house or of any house, road or town or anywhere else that George had ever seen before. So, the beam of light disappeared. So, in this window, they can see whatever Cosmos is showing. Stars, space, galaxies. Instead, through the window, George could see an incredible vast darkness peppered with what looked like tiny bright stars. He started to try and count them. So George was amazed to see such things. Here, peppered mean covered or filled. And he started counting the stars. George, said Cosmos in his mechanical voice, there are billions and billions of stars in the universe. New stars are created all the time. They are born in giant clouds of dust and gas. I'm going to show you how it happens. How long does it take for a star to be born? George asked. Tens of millions of years, replied Cosmos. I hope you are not in a hurry. Tut tut, said Eric, sitting cross-legged on the floor beside the sofa. Don't worry, George. I have speeded it up quite a lot. You will still get home for dinner. So I told you it was an incredible sight to see the outside world, to see the space, the sky all over with billion stars. It was incredible and beautiful sight. And Cosmos asked George that if I hope you are not in a hurry. So Eric said, no, he's not hurry. And George, don't worry, I have speeded it up quite a lot because George did not tell his parents that he has come over here because he was searching for his lost pet and his pet name was Freddy, and that is why he was little bit worried that he need to go home also. Okay, so I hope this much is clear to everyone. Now let's move to the next page. George noticed something about the view through the window onto outer space. Not all of it was covered with little stars. In the bottom corner of the window, he saw a patch of total darkness, a place where not a single star shone. So, when George looked outside through the window, he could see that not all of the area was covered with little stars, and his eyes fell towards the bottom corner of the window, and he could see there was a patch of total darkness, and there were not a single star shining there. What's happening there? He pointed. He put a question that what is happening there towards the bottom of window. Why there is utter darkness or total darkness? Let's have a look, shall we? Said Eric. He pressed a button on a remote control and the view through the window seemed to zoom towards the dark patch. So using a remote control, he pointed towards the bottom of window and zoomed that area. As they got closer, George realized that an enormous cloud was hovering in that spot. So when Eric zoomed that area, they saw that there was an enormous cloud, a big cloud which was hovering. Hovering means staying in the same position in the air without moving forwards or backwards. So there was a cloud which was floating on that spot. The window kept moving forward until they were right inside the cloud itself, and George could see it was made of gas and dust, just as Cosmos had said. Cosmos had just given a description that how the star is born out of giant cloud of dust and gas. Now they have reached a giant cloud of dust and gas. What is it? He asked. And where is it? George put another question. What is it and where is it? It's a huge cloud in the outer space, much bigger than the ones in the sky, replied Eric, made up of tiny particles which all are floating around inside it. There are so many of these particles that the cloud is enormous. It's so big that you could put millions and millions of eggs inside it. From this cloud, many stars will be born. Eric replied to George that it is a huge cloud made up of tiny particles which all are floating around inside and these clouds are so enormous and big and millions of earth inside it, and from this cloud many stars will be born. Inside the cloud, George could see the particles moving around, some joining together to form huge lumps of matter. These great lumps spun round and round, gathering even more particles all the time. But as the particles joined together, the spinning lumps weren't getting bigger. Instead, they seemed to be getting smaller. As though something was squeezing them, it looked like someone was making gigantic dough balls in outer space. One of these giant balls was quite close to the window now, and George could see it spinning round, getting smaller and smaller all the time. As it shrank, it became hotter and hotter. So hot that George could feel the heat from where he sat on the sofa, and then it started to glow with a dim but frightening light. So, inside the cloud, George could see the particles moving around and some joining together to form huge lumps of matter. When they were spinning round and round, more and more particles were joined together in order to increase size. As the particles joined together, they would become bigger in size. But on the contrary, the spinning lumps weren't getting bigger. So those lumps were not getting bigger and bigger. They are getting smaller and smaller as something was squeezing them. So that giant balls was looking like someone was making gigantic dough balls in the outer balls. And one of these giant balls started being close to the window, and now George could clearly see it spinning round and round. It got smaller and smaller in size, and all the time. As it became smaller, it became hotter and hotter. So George could feel the heat from he sat on the sofa, and it started to glow with a dim but frightening light. Okay, why is it glowing? Asked George. Now George put another question. Why this giant ball started glowing? The more it shrinks, said Eric. The hotter it gets. The hotter it gets, the brighter it shines. Very soon it's going to get too hot. So Eric solves his query that the more the giant ball shrinks, the hotter it gets. And very soon the giant ball is going to get too hot. The ball exploded from the inside, throwing off its outer layers of burning hot gas in all directions. After the explosion, the ball was shining like the sun. Wow, said George. Is that the sun? It could be, Eric replied. That's how stars are born, and the sun is a star. So the ball exploded. Exploded means burst from inside, throwing off its outer layers of burning hot gas in all direction. And after the explosion, the ball was shining like a sun. Wow, said George. When he saw that shiny burning piece of giant ball, George said that, is that the sun? And Eric replied, it could be, and that's how stars are born, and the sun is a star. When a huge amount of gas and dust combines and shrinks to become dense and hot, as you have just seen, the particles in the middle of the ball are so pressed together, they start to fuse or join up, releasing an enormous amount of energy. This is called a nuclear fusion reaction. It is so powerful that when it starts, it throws off the outer layers of the ball, and the rest is transformed into a star. That's what you just saw. So, when those particles moving freely inside the cloud, they started joining together. They formed a huge lump. When they joined more particles together, they started smaller in size. As the giant ball size decreases, it produces a tremendous heat, and when it is unable to hold that heat, it gets explode in all direction, and finally it starts shining like a bright star. So this is the whole process how a star is born, and when it produces enormous amount of energy, this is called a nuclear fusion reaction, and the outer layers of the ball is exploded, and inside of it transformed into a star. That's what you just saw. The star was now shining steadily in the distance. It was a beautiful sight. George gazed at it, amazed by its power. Every now and then he could see huge jets of brightly shining gases sent hundreds of thousands of miles from the surface at extraordinary speeds. So, when stars was now shining, it was a beautiful sight. George amazed by its power, and it was an astonishing or incredible sight to him. He has seen the birth of a star, and many stars took birth at that time. Okay. And the star will keep on shining like this forever? He asked. And another question came in George's mind. He asked that the star will keep on shining like this forever? He asked this question to Eric. Nothing is forever. Nothing is forever, George, said Eric. So Eric replied him that nothing on this planet or universe is meant to be forever. It is a universal phenomena that anything born in the universe has to perish one day. Okay, I hope the story is clear to you. So we completed our first chapter. So if you have any doubt related to this chapter, see the videos once again. and let's conclude our chapter. That's all for today. Thank you.